Hey, once again, good evening, everybody. How you all doing? Y'all know who this is. This your boy, Rob Thomas Jr., and this is the real news behind the news. Oh, yeah, man, today is Friday, September 23rd, second day of autumn, 2022. And just to be consistent, you all, I'm going to hang out with you all for a little bit. See if you all got anything on y'all mind. Just talk to me, y'all. You know, it all depends on you all's participation. How long I do this little broadcast for? Because again, I'm not the kind of person that will sit up here and do a broadcast just to be seen. I remember mentioning earlier that I would basically tell you all some of the things that's coming up that you all should be watching for, that you all should have paid attention to, maybe pay attention to. I can't tell y'all what to do, but things that maybe you should have paid attention to a little bit more. Also, things that you might want to pay attention to coming up. As you all know, of course, I uploaded a couple of videos where I talked about the situation over in Ukraine. And one thing I try not to do is just talk about something. I try to show you its implications on your day-to-day life. And with the situation over in Ukraine, it has spiraled way out of control, y'all, to the point we are on the precipice, on the verge of seeing nuclear weapons fly, literally. You know, it's crazy. But again, to rehash the latest events as to what happened, what has been happening, again, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has basically mobilized 300,000 more troops. That's in addition to the 200,000 that he has already in the field of operation. Hey, Jackson, boy, what's going on, my brother? Just trying to give you all a little update on some of the things that's going on. As I was saying, Putin, he just called up 300,000 more troops. Do y'all realize that the Ukrainians pretty much burnt through all their reserve soldiers already? Now Russia just added 300,000 more to the 200,000 that they got. That gives them 500,000 men. Now the special quote unquote military operation has changed from a special military operation to actually a flat out war against NATO. So this thing is way bigger than the Ukraine right now. Ukraine is just the vehicle that NATO and the West is using to conduct. They were using the Ukraine to conduct a proxy war, meaning that NATO and the United States was funneling weapons into Ukraine with the express intention to bog Russia down. But Russia said, all right, we're going to take the gloves off because we know it's the United States through NATO. We know it's Great Britain, Germany, and all these other countries through NATO that's prolonging this war, this operation in Ukraine. So Vladimir Putin basically just said that we're going to bypass, we're going to continue to demilitarize Ukraine, but our main objective is NATO. Now, he played a brilliant chess move. And again, I'm not a Russian sympathizer or nothing. I'm just telling you all the truth as to what's going on because it's going to affect you. And it's already affected us. Look at the people in Jackson, Mississippi, and the drinking water that they got. When they turn on the tap in Jackson, it comes out brown. You got a Republican governor in Jackson, Mississippi, in Mississippi, who refused to work with the black mayor in Jackson. Yeah, it's a lot of racism involved in that. But it only takes about 10-15 million for them to do something about the water supply in Jackson. They still haven't done nothing about the water supply in Flint. But 10-15 million to take care of the people of Jackson who are tax-paying citizens of the United States. It's been especially Jackson, boy, especially for the Europeans. I don't understand what the Europeans are they really just ignorant? Or are they that afraid of the Americans that they will let the Americans bully them into this situation where they finna freeze to death? Russia supplies almost 40% of the energy, the heating energy, to Europe. Now the Europeans got all these sanctions. They can't even buy the gas that they need to keep warm this winter because they're involved in the sanctions that will not allow them to buy the gas to keep warm this winter. Dumbest thing I ever heard, bruh. You mean to tell me that you're going to let a government way over here across water dictate whether you and your people freeze during the winter? And keep in mind, y'all, it gets cold over there real early. Already right now, the average electric bill, heating costs in Europe, on average throughout the whole European Union, is almost $2,000. That's going to hit at least $4,000 to $5,000. Just imagine getting an energy bill this in December. You live in, just say, New York. Just imagine getting an energy bill for $5,000 throughout this winter. That means you're going to have to make a choice. What if you don't make $5,000 a month? What if you only make $1,100, $1,600, $2,100 a month, and your electric bill is $5,000? How you going to feed your children? See, this is the situation that the Europeans are going to find themselves in. They're already finding themselves in that situation right now because they're seeing their electric, their heating costs, their energy bills skyrocket, y'all. All because the United States, if Europe is suffering, you know we're going to feel it. USA going to feel it. That's why, again, Jackson boy, this is why I always tell the subscribers to this channel, I talk a lot about international issues because if you don't understand what's going on over across that water, you'll never understand what's going on in your neighborhood, because the same tactics that they implement overseas, especially in nations that they conquered, that they colonialized, they practice those techniques and they bring them back here. Yeah. Like when I tell y'all how you need to pay attention to the Israeli Defense Force, how they treat the Palestinians, because that's a direct relation as to how black folks are being treated by the police in America. The tactics that the police in America learn to implement on black folk, like the knee to George Floyd's neck, they learned that from the Israeli Defense Force, y'all. So again, you have to really understand what's going on overseas, really to understand what is going on in your own neighborhood, man. Like Jackson boy just said, we gonna feel a lot of this energy crunch ourselves because there's not enough gas to go around the entire world for this winter. See, we thought that we could put these sanctions on Russia and then we can get our gas from places like it's a world reset. It's going to fail though, because what's happening is the rest of the world is leaning to the sphere of China, Russia, India. All these countries are banding together and they're leaving the United States and the Western world behind. Right now, the devaluation of the dollar has begun. Most of these countries, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Venezuela, Russia, excuse me, all these countries that produce oil and gas are saying we're no longer going to sell our gas for the dollar. See, you have to go back to World War II and understand the petrodollar. I mean, a part of the petrodollar is that the United States came up with this scam that says every oil producing nation in the world must bring their oil to market and sell it for the dollar, no matter what country you're from. That's what got Saddam Hussein murdered. It wasn't because he had weapons of mass destruction. No, Saddam Hussein in 1992 decided to protest and petition the United Nations to have his oil removed from the petrodollar to be sold for the euro, and they murdered him. That's what happened with Saddam Hussein. It had nothing to do with terrorism or anything that they would tell you. No, he was going to take his oil off the dollar standard. Same thing with Gaddafi in Libya. When Gaddafi started saying, well, we're going to sell our oil for the gold dinar, they rushed in and murdered Gaddafi under the guise that he was terrorist. And what's so killing about it, they used the United Nations to do it. They kept saying that Gaddafi was hurting his own people. He was slaughtering his own people. All that was a lie to get you here in America all outraged. Oh, that's bad. Putin is not joking. World War III. But it's not Putin's fault per se, Jackson boy. It is the West's fault. It is NATO's fault. See, you got to understand, I got to be very careful how I explain this so that this video can be eligible for monetization. But you got to understand, this thing that's happening in the Ukraine did not start February of this year. It actually started in 2014 under Barack Obama and Joe Biden. When Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton funded the overthrow of the rightful elected government of the Ukraine. They overthrew that government and put in a neo-Nazi type government. This is where you get the Azov battalions and all these groups from that now runs Ukraine. They overthrew that government in 2014. Something they don't tell you all about. The main reason why Russia did what it did, because they saw NATO using Ukraine as a doorstep to unload weapons to hold Russia in check. Basically, they were putting weapons on Russia's front door. Russia had been trying since 2014 to get them to back off. All Russia was asking Ukraine, look, man, we'll give you a security guarantee. Just do not join NATO or think about joining NATO, because we cannot have NATO putting nuclear weapons or other offensive weapons on our doorstep. And they did it anyway. So Russia was basically protecting its national sovereignty. It's not like this what they telling you on the news that it was an unwarranted aggression. No. If your next door neighbors is steadily buying AR-15s and AK-47s and grenade launchers and aiming them at your house, and they live right next door to you, what would you do? And you got to realize, again, I did another video. I didn't upload this one to YouTube, but in a sense, this is what was contributing to the mass migration. It's not an immigration problem. You have a mass migration problem here in America. And you know why? The people that are coming here in these record numbers are coming from countries that the United States government has fermented instability. They have destabilized the countries of Venezuela, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Nicaragua. We have went in over the years and destabilized these countries, in a lot of cases overthrew the rightful government, and in the case of South America, created all these drug wars. You see what I'm saying? And basically made these people's lives a living hell, put sanctions on them. We've been having sanctions on Venezuela for almost 20-some years now. Will not let them sell their own oil to feed their own people, simply because people like Nicolas Maduro, the current president of Venezuela, said, no, we're not going to sell our oil out to American oil companies when our people need to eat. So the people that are coming here in mass numbers across that southern border, they're not coming from Mexico. Mexico actually is doing pretty good. Mexico is doing good to the point that most people in Mexico happy. But the people that are coming here are coming from countries that we have destabilized, that we have overthrown, that we have caused color revolution. Basically, countries that we have tried to colonize through our imperialistic, capitalistic fascism. This is what you're seeing. So Putin is playing the game like a game of chess. America is just trying to be a big bully. Do y'all realize in April they came this close to a peace treaty, and Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, of Great Britain at that time, was sent by the United States and the United Nations to derail that peace agreement? The Ukrainians were ready to sign a peace agreement because they were getting slaughtered, and they were told not to by the West. They told them, we're going to keep giving y'all weapons. So now Putin is saying, all right, we know for a fact that the United States is providing intelligence as to where our troops are, all our troop movements, our logistics. We know that they are supplying not only defensive weapons, because the whole thing was we supposed to be helping Ukraine defend themselves, but now they're supplying offensive weapons. So Putin is saying we're no longer at a special military operation against the Ukraine. We are at war against NATO. Now, he played another smooth move with this referendum. Talk a little bit about the culture. Which culture is that? Because if we talk about black folks, we don't have a culture. As far as black folks, the only culture that we as black folks have is the culture that the white supremacists through the media is giving us. Notice why all only thing that they market to black people is death, violence, chaos, and destruction. And now the alternative, this alternative agenda. Everything that we watch or we see that's geared to us has something to do with gay and lesbianism, transgenderism, selling dope, gang banging, rapping about selling dope and gang bang. That is the culture. Our culture was taken away from us. Again, going back to what I said in the earlier video earlier this week, we are the only people on the planet, black people in America, that does not have our original culture. It was taken away from us, and they gave us a culture of a slave mentality. This is why so many of us hooked on this Jesus thing right now. Not knocking nobody's religion, but how you going to ask the God of your oppressors to make your oppressors stop oppressing you? We have been given a culture of submission against the powers that be, but that same group of powers that be are influencing a culture where we killing each other. If the white man, and I don't say this to be violent, I say this as a hypothetical explanation, but if it's the white way, how we overcome white folks? Well, the easiest way that we as black folks gonna overcome white folks, Jackson boy, is the way that we spend our money. We can't too much worry about the white folk. We got black women. We got to get them to stop buying all this hair, all this fake nails and shit from these Orientals. Think about it. The people that come into your neighborhood that's taking over the gas stations are coming from countries that produce all the gas and oil. Also countries that we done destroyed or overthrew to take their gas and oil. The people that's coming to in your neighborhood, they're selling us. Black women spend almost 30 billion, 30 billion a year just on hair. Black women are putting these people's children through college, and your kids barely can graduate special ed. I'm just not trying to be funny, but I'm just keeping it real. Black women, you are sending these women children to college, and your kids barely can read. So the only way we can overcome this culture is we have to start spending amongst ourselves. That means we have to start creating our own schools so we can educate our children in our own original culture if we can find it. We have to start spending our money to create our own banking system, because as long as we depend on these capitalist banks that's given to us by the oppressors, we're going to continue to get denied loans for housing and other things. If we do get a loan, the interest rate going to be so high. So you got to have your own schools. You got to have your own banks. We also need our own hospitals. You see what I'm saying? So we can teach people proper nutrition, that we can, teach people healthy ways of dealing with stress. So we can teach people about the dangers of high blood pressure, stuff that we suffer from as black people. Then last but not least, you got to have your own grocery store. A lot of us right now live in what you call food deserts. In the black communities, there's probably only one grocery store, maybe for 5-6 mile radius. One grocery store. There are no banks. All the schools that we go to really resemble gladiator camps. So that's the only way that we will be able to overcome them. We have to look at how our money is being spent. And if our monies are not being spent on those 4 pillars, hospitals, schools, banks, and grocery stores, we'll never overcome them, because we're going to be dependent on them forever to give us something when we can feed our own selves, when we can educate our own selves, when we can loan money to our own selves, man. That's the simplest way. Is when Martin Luther King realized, notice this, Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X were 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. Malcolm X was on that, if you kill my dog, I'm going to kill your cat. Martin Luther King was on nonviolence. Them white folk didn't care about none of that, because if you get violent, Negro, we got to wait to deal with you. Or, you know what I'm saying? If no matter what you try to do, we can deal with you. But it was when both of these guys realized the power of our economic base, the power of how much money we spent every year, and they start portraying that message, that's when they were murdered. As long as they was talking about nonviolent, man, we don't care if you do get violence, Negro. We can deal with you. We got tanks. We got a whole military, just in case y'all do try to get violent. When Malcolm X said, you kill my dog, I'm gonna kill a cat, them white folks was like, try it if you want to. See how far that gets you. And you see how far it got him. So it's about the way we spend our money. But again, we are given a culture of materialism as Black people. When you see us, our children going around with these fake necklaces, trying to make like they got platinum necklaces on, because they see the entertainers, they see the basketball, the football players with this materialistic driven culture in society. We are given a culture of materialism. We are given a culture of death. We are given a culture of chaos, mayhem, destruction, absenteeism of the family, meaning mothers and fathers now, leaving kids to raise. Come on, my Black people, wake up. I'm gonna be real. I think it's too late for us to wake up. We need a whole lot as parents re-indoctrinating our children. We need to find a healthy culture, a healthy way of life, a healthy lifestyle, and start promoting that amongst our people. Because other than that, our kids gonna continue to want to watch P-Valley. Hell, our kids watch it because hell, their mamas and daddies are watching it. We're gonna still want to listen to these rappers who are talking about killing each other and are actually killing each other. This is the culture that we embrace. Nothing positive about this culture at all. How come? Hold on a second, y'all. Let me see what we got. Okay, as you all watching, man, please hit that like button. When you come in, please leave a comment. Your comments are the very most important part of these broadcasts. Jackson Boy been with me for a minute, man, and I love, because he keeps me engaged. It's a lot of you all keep me engaged and make the video go. Now, I am going to have to end this video shortly, but I'm just getting myself in the frame of mind that I'm going to have to start doing these videos every day, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to grow the channel subscribers, the subscribers to this channel. I got to be consistent. And if y'all notice, I've been trying my best. I'm going to do it, because right now we're in a critical time, and I say this in all humbleness, but I believe the Creator created me with this voice, this message at this specific time for a specific reason. The more you all share these videos, I guarantee you, people might not agree with half the things I say, but people will start agreeing. And if nothing else, start looking at life different and start asking questions. That's the only thing I try to get people to do, is ask questions. I got so far off. Again, I thank you, Jackson Boy, because this video would have been a whole lot shorter if you would have been commenting. But I want to go back and say, we as Black people are pariah on the face of this planet, because no one on this planet has suffered more than we have. They like to tell us about the Jewish Holocaust, but the Black Holocaust, the Holocaust of Black people through chattel slavery, through through the transportation, through the Middle Passage, through this whole time that we've been here, has been the greatest Holocaust in human history, y'all. We got to, in a sense, get beyond the past. Yeah, we need to hold these folks accountable. You know, I do believe reparations are in order. But we can't keep sitting back, man, lolling on the history of the great kings and queens and kings from Africa. A lot of which sold some of our people into slavery, but none of which came over here to help rescue us once we got over here in bondage. Now you look at the people from Africa, they want nothing and have nothing to do with us. And we still talking about, let's go back to Africa. If I ask one of y'all, you say, I want to go back to Africa, and I ask you, what part of Africa you from? Even if you know what part you're from, do you speak the language? Do you know their customs and their traditions? We have been so far replaced from Africa that it's ridiculous. We need to start worrying about the present right now of the state of our children, our families, and our society in America. Because if we go back to Africa, they don't want us there. They don't even consider us, you're not the original black man. But we still black. So no matter where we go, who we deal with, even the Africans that come here from Africa look down on the black people in America. So yeah, we need to come together. Now I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, man, because I got to try to find something to eat. It's getting late. But again, I thank you all for your support. Please, if you can, look in the description section. We need a new look in the description section. There's a Cash App, there's PayPal. We had a couple of donations. I actually really appreciate that, because I seen this little phone. It's not that expensive. It's about $80. And with me having it turned on, I can get it done for $80. If we can get 8 of y'all to donate $10, I'll be able to do a whole better quality video tomorrow night. As soon as you all can help me do this, we can do this. I can't do it by myself, y'all, because I'm just now getting back on my feet after a year of being homeless, you know. So it's not up to you all to make this channel survive. But if you all like this channel, just like if your favorite artist, that's just like if you like Beyonce, soon as she drop a new album, you go to Spotify, you pay that $3-4 to get to download that album. Or you like watching Prime Video. Please, oh yeah, salute to you, Jackson, boy. You keep me on my toes. Y'all help this channel out, man. I mean, most important, you can help it out really by sharing, liking, and commenting. But we can also use finances. You hit the PayPal, Cash App at the hashtag rayzhonte. Just help us out, man. If 8 of y'all give $10 or 10 of y'all give $8, we'll have a whole new camera in the morning. And then I'll get the lighting after that. But either way it go, we need y'all support. So, hey, man, I thank y'all for joining. Y'all, if y'all see this video later on after it go live, please hit the like, hit the share. Make sure you subscribe. Also, if you can, make a financial donation. But most important, tell people and always ask questions. Y'all be blessed.